there are legal, the church law states very clearly when a church can be relegated to profane use. And our churches do not cannot be relegated to profane use because the law prohibits it. The churches don't meet the criteria for being relegated to profane use. Therefore, Bishop Plouffe has no legitimate reason to relegate them to profane use and sell them. He cannot sell them according to the Code of Canon Law.
What are you looking for today from the bishop?
We want him to reopen the churches. We want him to make sure all the sacred items are restored in those churches. We want him to, we basically say he can't legitimately sell Corpus Christi, which we know is the closing date of 3 years. So therefore, to cease in the process. And we want him to meet with us so that we can get on the task of making sure these churches the people of the diocese can receive the sacraments through these churches, whether they be chapels, missions, rectorates, shrines, retreat houses, whatever it needs to be. They're no longer parish churches, we understand that, but they can be other types of churches used by the faithful. To the Vatican, all the way. We're very confident in this. When the congregation of the clergy, which is a very high, part of the diaspora of the church, that they are responsible for these decisions. When they make these decisions, that's a powerful statement. Now, these decisions, there is a higher court. It's very unlikely that a higher court in the Vatican will overturn a ruling of the Vatican. So this is where the Vatican is giving directions to the whole church through these decrees. This is what they're saying in their interpretation of canon law. And we're going to stand on it. We're the Roman Catholic Church. We're in union with Rome. And Rome has spoken, and we're going to stand with Rome. And Bishop Plouffe, he has his authority. He acts as bishop when he acts in union with Rome. Rome has spoken. We need to act together with our bishops in light of what Rome has said. What's happened in these cases, there's more than one in Pennsylvania, so I only mention one. What's happened is this. What the congregation of the clergy has decided is this. The decision of the bishop to suppress the parish stands. It's no longer a parish church. The decision of the bishop to close the church and then sell it doesn't stand. The church building, the church is a sacred space, and it needs to stay a sacred space. And it can be used in a variety of ways as sacred space, not just as a parochial church.
In terms of meeting with the bishop, you mentioned that you requested a meeting of them.
On this matter, we've not privately requested a meeting on this. We're publicly requesting a meeting on this. This is important for the whole diocese.
Great, thank you very much. My question is, when we refer to how these actions go about
I'm just parish person.
Yeah, what does that mean? Good question.
No, I don't know.
Profane, the term is profane, but not sort of use. Okay? It can't become a law. Okay? Right? It can be used for something that is legitimate for the service of the community. Okay? So it could become, for example, it could become something that would serve senior citizens. It could become a senior citizens club, halls. Right? It could become offices, right, for businesses. It could be a business establishment. Whatever's going essentially sold. That's right. That's right. That's what it means. Right? But you see, what is a church? It's not a building.
for leadership to reopen the church?
A church is a sacred manifestation of the church. Right? It presences in the community the people and the reality of the church universal. So therefore, it's not a building in the same sense that the house where the priest lives, a rectory. That's a building. But a church is sacred space. You can't just sell it and do something different with it. You have to be able to now say, we no longer consider this sacred space.
Thank you very much.
And you have to have legitimate reasons to do so, because it's a serious matter. Because the church is expressing the reality that there is a universal church. It's a reality. It expresses the Catholicity in this neighborhood, in this city. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand. When it comes to the parish is already in basically disbanded.
Right.
By the bishop.
The bishop has decreed that our parishes are suppressed. So our communities, there's two types of parishes. Okay, I'll try and keep it simple. There's a territorial parish, and then there's personal parishes. St.
Is there a personal parish?
Corpus Christi was a territorial parish. So we were to serve the Catholic population within a particular part of the city of North Bay. Okay? So Catholics in that area were served by there. What suppression of our church means is the Catholics in that area are now served by a different territorial parish. Okay? So our territory has now been split between two other parishes. So our territorial parish doesn't exist. So the community of that territory no longer lives as a community in that territory. Those people now are part of a different community, territorial-wise. Then you have personal parishes, such as St. Rita's and St. Ange. Okay? They're personal parishes because they're there to serve a particular group, an ethnic group, a linguistic group. Okay? The Italian community and the French community, French Catholic community in Whitfield. Okay? And so those parishes have been suppressed as personal parishes. And the people there, the French Catholic community are being, said, go and worship at St. Vincent de Paul, because that's a personal parish, it's not a territorial parish. And the Italian community, they can go to an English parish or a French parish, but they no longer have a parish where their particular cultural needs will be met. Okay, that's what's happened. Bishop Plouffe has said that stops.
And he has the ability to do that.
He has the ability to do that. He has to have legitimate reasons to do that. He has to have certain processes.
Acknowledge that
He's done that. I have challenged his decree on Corpus Christi. I'm saying his decree, I'm not so much challenging his eventually, he'll be able to suppress the parish. Okay? If he does something wrong, he'll just correct it and keep going. All right? But I've challenged the validity of the decree that he issued for Corpus Christi because I think there's an error in fact in the decree. I think he's made an error in the decree. There's a factual error, which I think makes the whole decree invalid, and he needs to reissue a decree. So personally, my opinion is Corpus Christi still exists as a parish. Until the bishop has responded with a canonical decree that makes sense, that's my opinion. Publicly, that's my opinion.
So, if you have what you want, and his decision goes against canon law, and the church stays open, then what? The parishes will go back to...
No. What's being requested here is not so much for our parishes to be restored. We're not so much asking that. What we're saying here is, okay, you have the right to suppress our parish. You issue decrees. They're most likely going to, whether you've made an error or not, you can just come back and fix it up, and you're going to suppress our parishes. Okay?
Yeah.
All right? But the buildings cannot be sold.
Right.
Canon law says you can't do it. Because he does not have a legitimate reason to make them...
but if you're successful and the churches are sold,
right,
then everybody who went to St. Rita's will start going back to St. Rita's.
That would be wonderful.
Is that what you want to happen?
Absolutely. And more.
So it may not be a personal parish in the eyes of the diocese, but...
It could become a shrine.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
St. Ange could become a second place of worship for the parish of St. Vincent de Paul. It could be a chapel. It could become, or even St. Rita's, or even Corpus Christi could become a Newman Center with a chapel for Catholic students, for French and English and Italian, and anybody else, students who are beneficing in Canada College. There are all kinds of options available to us for sacred space. We have 3 churches that are sacred space, and they need to be used accordingly for the edification of the faithful. Whether they're shrines, chapels, retreat houses, that needs to be negotiated with the bishop.
Yeah. Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Good, thanks.
Yeah, great. Well, we're serious. These are people who are serious. Let me get a drink of water.
Yes, absolutely. Actually, I'm going to get you to come a little bit farther away from the stage, too.
Sure.